Good evening. It's June 13th, 7:02, and we are sitting here ready for our Shade Tree Commission meeting. We have 3 out of 4 right now. That's pretty good for us. We are looking for other members right now, so if you're interested in volunteering to be on the Shade Tree Commission, let me know. My email's everywhere. So establish quorum. We are waiting for one person, but we'll just go on without him. Disposition of minutes. They were done by Michael. Thank you very much. Is there any discussion or anything with them?
Nope.
Okay. Nope. Can I have a motion to accept the minutes of April?
Motion.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Yay. Aye. Thank you, all 3. Okay. So, updates. First on the agenda is David and I went to the Environmental and Sustainability Commission last Wednesday. They're not on TV. It was refreshing. So we talked about a lot of different issues and opportunities to do a lot of really fun things together. They have several initiatives that they're planning right now, having to do with pollinators and sustainability and leaves and those sort of things, both with their pollinator and biodiversity initiatives. Something we talked about that we've talked about here is a program called Leave the Lions, which is trying to get people to leave their dandelions out and not cut them and not spray them. Dandelions are one of the first things that come out for pollinators in our area. It's super duper important. So we're going to be looking at that coming up in the spring. They would like to do a leave the leaves. Yep. Okay. We are checking into that with code to see if that's actually doable. And the idea is that you don't rake up all your leaves and leave some to help compost and overwinter bugs and things like that. Did you have something to say about that? Okay. So part of this is getting the pollinator program back on track. That's something that the sustainability and we both want to do, and then we can coordinate those sort of things. Getting it back on track means that we have to rewrite a little section of the landscape ordinance. So we're on that. There's a list of that on the legislative. So let's see, one of the other things was they're developing a resource page, environmental resource page, and we will be able to put things on that and help them find resources. So the videos that we're coming up with and stuff will be able to go on that. And then when we get the pollinator stuff, that can go on there too. And it could be linked to both our websites. We also talked about a bio blitz at some point, probably next spring. That's kind of when you do them. And so we do it as a combined effort. So let's see, I think that was pretty much all of the things we talked about. It's very exciting to do things together because we do overlap a whole lot. So, do you have anything else, David? No. Okay. So, next thing. The Arboretum. If you guys get a chance, on our website, when you link to the minutes and the videos, there is a presentation that was done last June, I think June, it's about an arboretum. It's by Zan, whose name I can't remember, last name. I will link it, and that's his presentation. He did all the groundwork for our citywide arboretum project. And he left it that he had like next steps. And so we talked between the commission and us about finding people to be able to fulfill that. And so I think one of the things we finally figured out, we probably want to apply for either an intern or a student from the Community Connections or PACE program that can help us out. And that would probably be in the fall. So if you know any students who'd be interested in like having a capstone this sort of thing, who's really into plants. So once we do that, and then we can fill out the application and join the organization and start identifying trees and mapping them. So, questions? Okay. This was one of the long-term members' kind of project she really wanted to see go, and that's Nancy Walker. And so she started it, and now we're hopefully fulfilling it. So,
Do we have a mapping program that we want to use for that?
that is something that is being looked at right now. Jean and Jim Dyer, maybe my husband and stuff, look at what we can use and what, he has 2 students right now that are out mapping a lot of urban stuff. So we want to be able to get something that can be used by everybody, and then it's the same protocol for everybody. Because right now there's a lot of stuff out there, except for they measured everything differently.
Yeah.
And so that hopefully will have a protocol that will be in place before the BioBlitz and those sort of things. So,
Gotcha.
yeah, have to get a hold of Jim. His ears are now burning. Any questions about the Arboretum? So I don't think there's any problem of finding enough trees to be able to qualify.
Yeah.
We have a very biodiverse tree story. Just on Morris, I know of 15 different species. So, and most of them are native. It's awesome. Okay. Legislative. Okay, one thing that we have been talking about is making redoing some of the legislation. The pollinator program needs to be changed in the landscaping ordinance. We have some other landscaping ordinance issues and some of the other sustainability issues about updating for Leave the Lions and those sort of things to make sure they all can all mesh together and make sense with our code. So David and I will be starting with that, and then we will be sending drafts to you and stuff. And if you would like to know the nitty-gritty of making legislation. So we will present that probably at we'll definitely present it at one of our meetings before we give it to the higher-ups. So, David, sound good?
Sounds good.
Okay, cool. Yay. Timeline for that would probably be July, council takes off, August, start of school and stuff, so we'll probably be starting it through that process in August, September, or something. Okay, cool. Okay, so that's all that. So now we have 3 permits that we are supposed to look at. The first permit is for Bradford Pear. So these sort of permits, we give our recommendations on. Mostly recommendations are for either heavy pruning or removal. So the first one is the Bradford Pear over on, not Columbia. Yeah.
Congress
Columbia.
and
Congress, yes.
Carpenter.
Yeah. Okay. I have absolutely no problem with having Bradford Pear removed. And then can we burn it? It probably releases something really bad when you burn it.
So the reason that they want to remove this tree is so that they can put accessible drive-in up at the Mount Zion Church, as they're working on that, and they need that tree out of the way. It's been hit once, maybe a couple of times in the recent history, and it is a right-of-way tree, but that's the reason that they're asking for its removal, is so that they can install a drive out on the side of the facility.
Mm-hmm. So I would suggest that we are going to provide our recommendations. We can vote. Yay.
Yay.
No more Bradford pears.
Any more?
Okay. We want to take them all, right? They do have that horrible disease, right? The rusty disease.
The
It's-
cedar quince rust.
Yes. So if your poinsettia, or if your Bradford pear is looking really sad, then you should probably think about taking it out too, because it probably has the rust, and it can go over to other things like pyracantha. If your pyracantha all of a sudden bellies up, that's probably what it is. So.
Can
Okay.
also host fire blight.
Fire
And
blight, yes.
Even if they look really good, you should take them out.
Yeah. Besides the fact they smell like dead fish.
Yeah.
So, or the developers, come back. Okay, the second one, would you like to talk about that one?
Is this the Columbia Road? They're asking for a tree, and I believe this is the one that's located in the alley behind. So it's a paper alley, non-developed alley. So it is city property, and they're asking for that tree to be removed.
Right. Is this the one we looked at a couple years ago?
I don't believe. I think this is a new one. Yeah, yeah.
And it has a lien, the neighbors are concerned about it coming down. So, I think that probably seems like a right sort of thing to do. I think it should be noted that in ORC, Ohio Revised Code, that if you have branches coming over onto your property, you have the right to cut them from your neighbor's tree. You should talk to them first. But, there is this being good neighbors sort of thing. And this person's concerned about their neighbors having a tree fall on them, so they would like to remove it. So, okay. I think that we all recommend that too.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, and the third one?
I believe this is RVC's property, so it's on West State Street. I'm not sure I understand the reason for the request for the removal, but that's a tree, a right-of-way tree that they'd like to take out.
Does this have to do with some of the work that's been going around there?
So looking through it, it looks like it is a sewage issue.
Yeah.
The roots are going into. It's have a pretty lengthy complaint on, I think, 4 or 5 different times that they've had it removed out of their sewage system. Makes pretty good sense. It's a pretty nicely sized swamp white oak right over top of their sewage line.
That makes sense. Might as well put a swamp in. So it's sad having trees be removed. But also the issue with right-of-way and pipes takes precedence because it has health, safety, and issues for people. So, okay. So I think we probably recommend on that one too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Heavy hard. It's one of the better looking ones.
Yeah.
On Cook Street. But
Well, and people will ask about it.
Yep.
Do we recommend some other
Well,
smaller
the-
tree, maybe?
Yeah, the thing is that that's such a small, tiny little area.
yeah. I mean, certainly. I mean, it's right next to. I think there's a honey locust right next to it. And that might not be a terrible match on there. I think the big thing is just the taproot system. That swamp can get pretty aggressive. So, I think even probably a relatively same size tree might not be terrible to put in, just with a less of a taproot system.
Right. So maybe we can recommend that we would like to see them look into putting a tree there.
Okay, replacing it, yeah.
Something that doesn't have as many bad roots, which might be a good opportunity to do some education and talk about when people put trees in their front yard. And the good trees for roots and pipes, and bad trees for roots and pipes. I think that's something that people probably are interested in. So that's a video we should get.
Yeah.
So
I think probably some mitigation could have been done initially, but sounds like they just keep chopping it out, and as you chop it out, they're just gonna keep going right back in. So
yeah. Any other questions? Okay. That's all our tree recommendations. Okay. We don't really have any landscape ordinance issues or maintenance of tree canopy that's more, the landscape ordinance issues have more to do with legislation right now. No, because our pollinator program is kind of in, it's an instar, it's in one of its instars. It's in hibernation, so.
It's a larva.
It's a larva. It's going into its cocoon, and then it will come out a beautiful, beautiful butterfly. So hopefully by the end of the summer, we could do something. So the other thing with maintenance of tree issues and new business is our fall planting program. So we are now taking orders for trees. We want to plant at least 20 trees with the Arbor Day committee people who help plant our trees. We will get them from Maynard's. If you're interested in a street tree, let us know at the code office. We will have a form that's being filled for you to be able to fill it out, and somebody will come out and look at the area, and then you can be signed up for a street tree. First 20 people, because we're not going to have 100. So maybe in the spring we'll have 100. But we want to get this program up and running. The Arbor Day people would really love to start planting a lot of trees. So let us know. David, anything with that?
No, just remember that Kevin Skurlock has got some additional trees he'd like to get as part of that program. And then were you going to have the Parks Department plant those right-of-way trees, or were you going to have the Arbor?
I think the Arbor Day people, I asked her how many trees they could plant, like in a good weekend. She said 20.
Okay.
So, you know, it was a bunch of people who
Great.
came home. Yeah,
Yep.
I know a lot of people. I'll be teaching a class to go out and have a tree field trip, which will be with our Arbor Day, which we can be even bigger than we normally do, so we can have a little more output and stuff. And I'd like to see some of the stuff that we've talked about with our branding being done, so we can have a sign, you know, a lawn sign that we can stick in front of the tree that says, "Hi, this is a new street tree planted by your loving city." That way people know that it's important, and then they know that they can get it too. So better branding, I think, is for us. So questions on that? Okay. Videos. We have our first video up, and it is on removing vines from trees, which is super duper important. It's being shown regularly on the government channel. And then I expect it will be, you could probably stream it from our video, from our website. And we will be putting more videos on. If you have an idea for a video, or you have a video that you know of, or you want to make for us or something, let us know. And we can work with the government channel people and do some stuff. So, any other questions? So, a lot of the projects that we're kind of doing are kind of in hovering, I think, right now, because it's summer. Everybody's off for the summer. So, any other old business that we didn't talk about? Have anything? Okay. We will meet, I think, in July 13th, 14th, somewhere around there. Unless something comes up or there's no issues for us to discuss, and then I'll let you guys know. So, any questions or anything? It's a pretty easy meeting. So, okay. I have a motion for adjournment.
Motion.
A second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Thank you. Thank you.